Hallo everyone, gladdes Jul, frohes Weihnachten, by the time everyone's been watching this. So here we are, a nice trail, having a nice walk. The end of the year now, so coming up to the end of the year. And before we talk about the what's going on my channel, what's going on with tennis, with the rackets, with the channel update, and also some of my own personal discussions. So we're going to just go over to the court for a moment. And hello everyone, here we have the rackets that I've demoed this year, and you might see the large pole down the middle, and this is the rackets that I've demoed. They've been okay, and these are the rackets which of course didn't work out. Of course we've got the rackets here, the head gravities, which caused an injury to myself, so they're out. And you might be wondering, what rackets do we have here? So here we have firstly the Dunlop CX200 from 2021. Now this racket I tried quite a few times, but I found quite hard on my hands. I found it quite stiff and dead. I don't tend to like dead rackets. But for some people this may work. This is the CX200 from last year, 2021. The racket, the Dunlop racket I did use before that was the Dunlop CX200 Plus 2019, which worked out quite well. But Plus rackets aren't so good if you're dealing with a one-hand backhand for manoeuvrability. Greater than the serve and greater than the forehand, but this normal one I did not like at all. And I've recently demoed the 2024 edition, which is much better than this. Now we come to the Artengo. Now the Artengo racket was one which I felt was quite controlled. This is the Artengo TR960 Control Tour. Now this racket was not just controlled, but also gave you just a little bit more than 97, as you may have known from your research. Well, I can tell you now that this racket is about 97.6 square inches. So you're getting a little bit more than the usual 97 and more closer to a 98. Very budget oriented, you know, generally an okay racket. I just didn't like it on serves, I didn't like it on any shot at all. And of course there's a few mentioned with the Artengo. This racket will actually feature in the playoffs with a different string, and there might be some modification to see if it can reinstate itself. And next we have the Wilson Blade. This is the Wilson Blade version 9, 16 by 19, 98 square inch. And this racket I felt was a racket that was a bit more stiff than the V8 model and a bit different to the V7. However, it still had that Wilson feel a bit about it. But I've demoed this a bit this year, once or twice, and I'm going to be trying. This is definitely going to feature in a Wilson future video. So I would say for the Wilson V9, play similar to the V8. So if you're not interested in going to the V9, then don't bother with it. If you are open to something different and want to see what Wilson has to offer with the blades for the version 9, I'd recommend it. Then we come to an oldie but still a very decent racket, the Head Radical MP of 2021, I believe this one is. And this one here was the version just before they had the auxetic, and I quite played some of my best rallies and best hits with this funky kind of string. And this racket just felt in general quite good, but it was good, but it wasn't great. But it was a close contender to the Extreme Tour at the time. Feature also in a future head racket video. And for the head radicals, we continue on here to the Radical MP 2023. This is the first auxetic version. So the first auxetic version, this one plays a bit differently and feels a bit differently to the previous version. But I would say it's not a great difference, but it's something which is very solid for people who hit through the court. I think you're going to feel it, and a little bit more dampened with this. But this will also feature in the same video as that head. And finally, the Wilson Pro Star series. This is something which will be featuring in come video, and I haven't much to say about this, but this is coming up. I've tried the Pro Staff 97 and the 100 or Pro Staff X, and also tried the 6.1 100, which I didn't really like at all completely. It was okay, manageable, but not for me. I have also demoed the 3 Yonex Percepts I've had an interest in.
the 97, the 100 and the 100D. The 97 I have tried twice and disliked on both occasions. The 100 and 100D were playable and more to my interest, and so they will feature in a future Yonex Challenge video. I demoed these three Felco rackets a lot, and unfortunately I only received them after my finger injury began, so I was not really in a position to make a extensive review. However, after some sessions I found that despite being okay rackets, there was something lacking. Now, in the C10 Evo 98 square inch, it was very unplayable and underpowered, and even felt like as if I got some kind of wrong spec. I later checked the C10 Evo specs, and it came in as on the swing machine at a swing weight in the 290s. And I found with the Evo, the beam dimensions are just too thin. The yellow V cell with 10 at 98 square inch was better, but was lacking compared to the head extremes in every respect. And finally, the green V cell V1 Pro at 99 square inch was unique. However, I felt that I was really holding a head-heavy racket, and I did not like it in any way. In fact, every shot I played with that racket, I did not like at all. Overall, I did not find anything competitive about these three frames, and nothing came close to the already finalists that we know. The only frame that was somewhat competitive was the C10 Pro in its Pro Stock iteration. However, I didn't find this to be on quite the same level again as the Head Extreme or even the Dunlops.
And as you may know, this is the racket that I'm still using. This is a Head Extreme Tour, the first auxetic. As you remember, there's a recent video that I put out where I played a tournament, list club matches, club tournament championship with this. And this is going to be the racket to beat. In my opinion, this is one of the best rackets Head has released for many years. And at the same time, this is the racket that I'm currently using. So this is going to be in the final. So that's it. That's the rackets that didn't make it. And the rackets that still are in contention. And of course the racket that's hanging in the balance. So there's a lot more rackets to come. And back to the walk and talk. So the beauty of nature. And that's one thing I wanted to, before I get on the discussion of everything else, I think it's really important for people to not just sit down and watch videos, you know, not just talk about tennis all the time, in the sense of, you know, you get on a video and you watch endless videos, or you get consumed by matches. I think it's important for people to go out there and play tennis, but also to enjoy life and enjoy nature, more importantly. Get out there and do things. And I think a lot of people are too consumed by, look at this, Baden-Württemberg. Well, it's actually Baden and Württemberg. It's not exactly one state, but that's another story. But on to the topic of tennis. Yeah, get out there and play it, get out there and train, get out there and get it done. And so what's been going on with the channel? Seeing, as you may have heard from the last video, my video, which was actually some months ago when I played in July, in the middle of the year, and I sustained an injury actually, and afterwards, around August, when I was testing out the racket, the head gravity rackets, and yeah, the head gravity rackets, do not touch them. Those ones, if you've got injuries or you're susceptible to things like this. So that was a racket that didn't feature on the channel. Well, just did before momentarily, but not hitting one. I was looking forward to trialing it out because there was a few players, a Danish player who was using it. I thought it might be a good racket to use, but no, it didn't work out. I tried all the frames and didn't work out. And not too long after, I sustained finger injury, and then a few months later I was trying to get back, and then I sustained a shoulder injury, which is not related to the racket at all. And then afterwards that was it. So I've been trying to get back into playing a bit, but that's why there hasn't been so many videos. But I think this nice video, this view, I think here's kind of makes up for it. But so what's going on with rackets? So I've also had to say that I'm trying to refine my search a lot more, and when I get back into the demoing testing, which will be in maybe 2 months, could be in 3 months, I don't know how long. I'm still really going through this injury process, just trying to rehabilitate the body and try and get back to, I got some procedures to go through in this rehabilitation, and it's, you know, it's not interesting, it's not exciting, but I think that's why in life you've got to have other things than just hitting a ball over the net. As much as it's the best sport in the world, you've got to have other things to do as well. And so yeah, I'm going to be, when I get back to testing, there will be about probably 15-20 frames, about 15 frames left to test. And generally the frames I'm looking for, if I haven't spelled it out already, is I'm testing ones between 98 square inch and 100 square inch. And the 100 being, I want to make sure it's a bit more controlled. So I'm looking on 100 for an 1820. That's the only time I look for an 1820. But I generally favour 1620, 1819. And then for the 9899, I don't play any 1820s. But really, out of the hundreds I've tested in the 1820, I haven't enjoyed any of them at all. So I think 1820 is not what I'm going to be testing out. But yeah, that's the main thing. If there's any companies out there, small companies that want to have their rackets demoed properly, and I think I do a very decent job with racket demos, because I don't, it's not just for me, I also do give another angle as well. I try and get other people involved, but predominantly it's my own journey, so I have my own take on things, my own analysis, which I think is pretty good, if I say so myself. Yeah, so it's so no, we've got some more coming up. If there's any small companies, please reach out to me on Mortias Tennis. Let's see what this bridge has to offer us. I've been to a similar bridge a lot longer in Tasmania. Of course, there's bridges everywhere. Going to be releasing a few other more videos, and there's a lot of rackets coming out. Don't get too obsessed or involved with every racket. You want to try and draw down your choices in rackets, so I wouldn't go, you know, overboard with the amount of rackets. Just select, you know, have careful selection, and try and use what I've done as a bit of a guide, because At the end of the day, I don't work for these companies. I'm not a racket engineer or some fancy title. I haven't got 2 billion subscribers. 2 million would be nice. Just imagine a tennis channel with 1 million subscribers. Besides tennis TV, that would be pretty incredible. So, but that's it basically. Next year I will do an announcement. If you're watching this next year, we'll expect an announcement on what's to come. There'll be a lot of things coming once I'm back into it next year. A lot of videos that I've got planned. Look at that beautiful falls. But don't get too obsessed with all the gear talk and gear sales. That's what it is. It's really just selling and selling and selling, and these companies aren't really interested in really what's good for you. They're only caring about what's in their wallet, or what will be in their wallet. And there's nothing wrong with making a living, having a business, but I think when you get to the point where you're introducing a new racket every 2 years, it's just a bit ridiculous. I mean, what toll does it also take on the environment, I wonder? So I wonder what toll it takes, but that's another story. I also say for people, don't support this system. Don't support this corporatism, destruction of the environment, destruction of nature. Get involved again with living in a more permacultural way. Be part of this. And this is what we should all be focusing on long term. Seek to try and become more self-reliant. Anyway, I thank everyone for listening, and thanks for the 100 subscribers. 114 now, which will be very interesting. So I thank everyone who's subscribed and who follows. Please share this channel with others. I'm often amazed the amount of views I get, but the lack of subscribers. So I think people must like watching it, otherwise they wouldn't watch it. But for a channel, it does really help once you got 1,000 subscribers and you get a lot of more subscribers, because it allows the content creator then to focus on delivering quality content. My thoughts on small brands. The small brands in general is that it depends on the small brand, obviously, but I think by and large, I think all rackets mostly now these days being made by companies are quite good. But small brands, I think you want to come to them and be aware of what technology, what quality, how does it match up, and don't be afraid of using small brands, but don't run to them either just because they're a niche brand. So I tried the Focals again. I tried them twice in the past, the C10 Pro. I tried a funky Focal years ago, I can't remember its name. They were okay. They were nothing special. I don't really consider Technofib to be, or Technofiber, because people don't want to pronounce what's supposed to be pronounced. But I tried them, tried it off and on for a few years, and I never really come to like them. They're just a brand. I like their balls. Their balls are very good. Their strings are a bit average. Not really a fan of their strings. Any of the strings, ice coat and razor coat. I've tried the NXT, I think it was called at one point. It was a monofilament, and it felt like there was no spin. It was just purely flat. It was like something you had to play as a cross, which I never did because I was just put off with a string. And I didn't really like it. And so, but I tried a lot of those rackets, and I now have an exact idea of what rackets I'm going towards. There's a few rackets coming out next year that could be interesting, but mostly not for me. I mean, we have the E-Zone. Again, stay away from that. I'd love to play with the E-Zone if I could. I would. And then head radicals, which will just be the same as the last. If not, I think it's Auxetic 2.0 they're bringing out. And then of course there's the Head Instinct apparently is coming, and then you have the Gravities, don't touch them. And I think there's Technofib is just brought out, I was just mentioning a company they brought out from a frame. Not really a big fan of the feel of their rackets or their strings. Balls are very durable, as I mentioned, but other small brands, Hyssel, they don't have a 98 that's a 16 by 19, they only have 18-20, which is I'm avoiding, so they're really not for me. And there's another company, 10X, which is I haven't tried, and they're more or less like a Wilson Pro stuff. I've seen the racket, I've held it and so on, but and then there's a few other very small brands which I like. The Bolt I won't be bothering. There is Diadem or Diadem, I think, and they could be interesting. I'd like to try them out. I've heard they're very similar to Babola. But for the small brands, analyze them, look at them, don't just run towards them, and don't run away from them. It's for the you got to really kind of treat each racket as they come. You got to analyze them, and don't just jump at a racket. That's about it, really. There's quite a few rackets. It's quite crazy, actually, how many rackets are coming out. So that's about it. Keep going forwards, supporting the channel, and we've got a lot more videos coming up. It's now the end of the year. Go and enjoy yourselves. Go and be with your family, your friends. Get out in nature, and that's about it. So thanks for the 114 subscribers. No, really thanks for everyone for supporting the channel. So I'm going to go and enjoy this forest.